Within the very fabric of your being lies a power so magnificent and transformative that when properly understood and wielded with conscious authority, it becomes the master key to unlimited financial abundance. This power is not some mystical theory relegated to ancient texts or wishful thinking dressed in spiritual language. It is the fundamental creative force by which worlds are formed and destinies are shaped. This power is your spoken word, and when charged with unwavering faith and spoken with divine authority, it becomes an irresistible command that sets universal law into immediate motion. The moment you truly comprehend that your words are not merely vibrations dissipating into the atmosphere, but actual creative forces that organize invisible substance into visible supply, your entire relationship with money undergoes a revolutionary transformation. Every declaration you make with conviction becomes a divine decree that the universe, operating under immutable spiritual law, must fulfill with mathematical precision. This is not metaphor or poetry. This is spiritual science operating with the same reliability as the law of gravity. Consider the profound truth that governs all creation. In the beginning was the Word, and through the Word all things were made manifest. You carry within your consciousness this identical creative principle. When you speak with faith-filled authority, you are not hoping something might happen or making a polite request to an indifferent universe. You are commanding reality to reorganize itself according to your spoken decree. Your word becomes the organizing intelligence that marshals the invisible forces of abundance into tangible, measurable supply that appears in your physical experience. The tragic reality is that most people use their words carelessly, unconsciously creating the very financial limitations they spend their days lamenting. They declare with feeling, "I can't afford it. Money is so tight. I never catch a break," and then wonder in bewilderment why their bank accounts continue to reflect these negative decrees. They fail to understand that every word spoken with emotion and conviction becomes a seed planted in the fertile soil of universal substance, and that seed must inevitably produce fruit after its kind. The universe does not distinguish between positive and negative declarations. It responds with perfect impartiality to the intensity of your conviction and the consistency of your spoken word. When you declare with unwavering faith that abundance flows to you from the infinite source versus channels, you activate a chain of cause and effect that must manifest as increased supply through both expected and unexpected avenues. The universe operates as a perfect servant, taking your words literally and working tirelessly to create circumstances that match your dominant declarations. This is why it becomes absolutely crucial to guard your words as carefully as you would guard the most precious treasure. For indeed, your speech is far more valuable than any material possession. The creative power of your spoken word operates through several distinct yet interconnected mechanisms that work simultaneously to transform your financial reality. First, your words reprogram your subconscious mind, which then operates day and night to bring your outer circumstances into perfect alignment with your inner declarations. The subconscious mind, being merely a faithful servant without the capacity for independent judgment, accepts your words as absolute truth and begins immediately to attract experiences that confirm your spoken beliefs. Second, your words alter your vibrational frequency, transforming you into a powerful magnet that naturally draws to you the financial good you are claiming with such authority. Third, your words activate the law of attraction with laser-like precision, drawing to you the specific people, opportunities, and circumstances necessary for your prosperity to manifest in the physical realm. This understanding transforms the nature of prayer from desperate begging into authoritative commanding. Instead of pleading with an indifferent universe for improved financial circumstances, you begin to speak with the confidence of one who knows their divine inheritance and claims it without apology or hesitation. You declare what is rightfully yours by spiritual birthright with the same unshakable certainty that a rightful heir would claim their inheritance, knowing that the power of universal law stands behind every faith-filled word to enforce its fulfillment. The master declaration that rewires your financial consciousness operates through this precise creative mechanism. When you declare, "God is my unfailing supply, and lavish abundance now manifests under grace and in perfect ways," you are issuing a command that reaches into the very heart of infinite substance. The word God represents the inexhaustible source of all supply, the limitless reservoir from which all abundance flows without diminishment. When you claim this source as your personal supply, you transcend dependence upon human channels that can fail and establish your connection to divine channels that cannot fail. The word unfailing eliminates every possibility of lack from your consciousness, closing the door permanently to financial worry and opening wide the floodgates of continuous provision. Your subconscious mind, which controls the vast majority of your daily actions and automatically attracts your experiences, begins operating from this new premise of unfailing supply rather than from outdated patterns of limitation and scarcity that may have governed your life for years. Lavish abundance elevates your financial consciousness far above mere survival or getting by, programming your mind for overflow, surplus, and wealth that allows you to live magnificently while being a tremendous blessing to others. Many people unconsciously sabotage their good by requesting only enough or just what I need. But divine abundance recognizes no such artificial limitations. When you boldly declare lavish abundance, you give the universe complete permission to prosper you beyond your current capacity to imagine. The phrase "now manifests" destroys the deadly belief in delay that keeps countless people trapped in financial frustration indefinitely. The divine operates exclusively in the eternal now, and when you align your consciousness with this truth through your spoken word, you collapse the time barrier between desire and fulfillment. Your declaration becomes a bridge across which your good travels from the invisible realm of pure potential into the visible realm of manifest supply that you can touch, count, and spend. Under grace ensures that your abundance unfolds through divine order rather than through struggle, manipulation, or harm to others. Grace represents love in action, and when your prosperity manifests under grace, it blesses everyone it touches while removing any guilt or sense of unworthiness you might harbor about claiming abundance. In perfect ways, acknowledges that infinite intelligence knows exactly how to deliver your supply through the ideal channels, at the perfect timing, in precisely the right amount, relieving you of the impossible burden of trying to orchestrate the details of your manifestation. This principle directly connects to faith over fear in financial matters because every time you speak your declaration with conviction, you are actively choosing faith over the fearful programming that may have kept you financially bound. Each faith-filled declaration dissolves layers of doubt while building an unshakable foundation of trust in your divine source. Your consistent declarations literally rewire your neural pathways, creating new mental patterns that support abundance rather than perpetuating lack. The creative power of your spoken word reaches its full potential when combined with deep feeling and absolute faith. Words spoken mechanically or with underlying doubt carry minimal creative force, like arrows shot from a bowstring without tension. But words spoken with conviction, with emotion, with complete faith in their power to create, these words become irresistible commands that penetrate every level of consciousness and set the entire universe in motion to fulfill your decree. Every repetition of your faith-filled declaration strengthens the new pattern while weakening the old, building tremendous momentum in the direction of your prosperity. Like water consistently applied to stone, your persistent declarations will eventually dissolve even the most stubborn patterns of financial limitation that may have seemed permanent and unchangeable. This is why consistency becomes absolutely crucial. Each declaration builds upon the previous one, creating an unstoppable force that must eventually break through into this manifestation. This understanding naturally leads to right word plus right action, because your spoken word serves as the catalyst that prepares the ground, but you must remain alert to the intuitive guidance, inspired ideas, and subtle promptings that follow your declarations. The universe, having received your command through your words, begins immediately to present opportunities, insights, and connections. Your role then becomes following these inspirations with prompt action. The word creates the possibility. Inspired action actualizes it in your physical experience. A woman discovered this principle when her small business faced seemingly insurmountable financial pressure. Instead of continuing to declare her problems, she disciplined herself to speak only words of increase over her affairs. Each morning she would stand in her empty shop and declare with feeling, "God is my unfailing supply, and lavish abundance now manifests under grace and in perfect ways. Divine customers appear at the perfect time with perfect purchases." She cleaned her space thoroughly, sent gracious notes to former clients, and followed every inspired impulse that came. Within days, old inventory began selling, referrals brought new business, and a payment delayed for months suddenly materialized. The supply had been waiting in the wings. Her spoken word opened the door for its entrance. Your words create a vibrational frequency that attracts circumstances matching that vibration with magnetic precision. When you consistently declare abundance and provision, you begin vibrating at the frequency of prosperity, naturally drawing wealth through both logical and seemingly miraculous channels. This vibration becomes a powerful magnetic field that reorganizes your entire life experience around the truth of your declarations. Understanding this principle means recognizing that your tongue serves as the rudder of your financial ship. In rough economic seas, a wise captain does not surrender control to the waves of circumstance, but sets the course and maintains it regardless of external conditions. You must exercise this same authority over your speech, refusing to lend your voice to panic or complaint, speaking only the course you intend to sail financially. The creative word requires no forceful tone to be effective. It derives its power from faith, not volume. Whispered truth, spoken with conviction, has accomplished mightier transformations than loud complaints shouted in desperation. Yet the word must be alive with feeling and faith. Lip service without heart engagement is like a letter without postage. It lacks the energy necessary to reach its destination. Form the habit of blessing every channel of your current supply through your spoken word. Bless your work, your clients, your income sources, your skills, and even your expenses. Speak to each. You are prospered by divine favor and multiply continuously. Perfect opportunities and perfect compensation flow through you now. Even bless channels that appear to have closed, saying, "This door closes only so that a better door may open immediately. I release this with gratitude and welcome the greater good prepared for me." This practice keeps your consciousness flowing rather than stuck, maintaining the circulation that is essential for continued increase. There exists within the realm of spiritual science one perfectly crafted statement that contains the complete blueprint for financial transformation. This declaration stands as the master formula, the golden key that unlocks every door to abundance, the divine password that grants immediate access to the inexhaustible treasury of universal supply. When understood in its fullness and spoken with unwavering conviction, this single sentence possesses the power to completely rewire your financial consciousness, dissolving decades of limitation, programming, and installing an entirely new operating system based on infinite provision and lavish abundance. God is my unfailing supply, and lavish abundance now manifests under grace and in perfect ways. These 21 words represent more than hopeful thinking or spiritual platitudes. They constitute a precise spiritual formula that activates universal law with the same mathematical certainty that governs the movement of planets and the changing of seasons. This declaration is your financial constitution, the fundamental law that governs every aspect of your relationship with money, supply, and prosperity. When this truth becomes the cornerstone of your financial consciousness, every other aspect of your money life begins aligning with this higher order. The genius of this master declaration lies not only in what it includes, but in what it deliberately excludes. Notice that nowhere in this statement will you find reference to economic conditions, employment situations, market fluctuations, or any external circumstances that most people consider essential factors in their financial well-being. This omission is revolutionary. It represents a complete understanding that your supply comes not from the world of effects, but from the world of cause, not from human channels that can fail, but from divine source versus channels that cannot fail. When you declare God is my unfailing supply, you are making the most radical statement possible regarding the source of your provision. You are announcing to your subconscious mind, to the universe, and to every force that governs manifestation, that you no longer depend upon your employer for your supply. Your employer is merely one channel through which your supply flows. You no longer depend upon your investments for security. Your investments are simply vehicles through which your abundance expresses. You no longer depend upon economic conditions for your prosperity. Economic conditions are merely the backdrop against which your divine supply demonstrates its independence from human limitation. This understanding elevates your consciousness above dependence upon any particular channel to absolute trust in the inexhaustible source. The word God represents the principle of infinite life, infinite wisdom, and infinite substance that is omnipresent and ever ready to express itself as your perfect provision. By claiming this infinite source as your personal supply, you are asserting your divine inheritance, recognizing that you are intrinsically connected to the very wellspring of all abundance. The word unfailing serves as an absolute guarantee that eliminates every possibility of lack from your future experience, establishing your supply as constant, eternal, and perfectly reliable, a truth that, when deeply assimilated, utterly dissolves financial anxiety. Lavish abundance represents a quantum leap beyond the poverty consciousness that keeps millions trapped in financial mediocrity. This phrase deliberately expands your consciousness beyond the narrow confines of just enough or what I need. Most people, even those who consider themselves spiritually minded, unconsciously limit their good by requesting only survival-level provision. Lavish abundance means overflow, surplus, wealth that allows you to live magnificently while being a tremendous blessing to others. It means having such an abundance of supply that you never need to count the cost of generosity, never need to hesitate before extending help to others, never need to postpone joy because of financial constraints. The word lavish challenges every cramped belief about money and spirituality, programming your subconscious mind to expect, recognize, and attract opportunities for overflow. It shifts your internal financial thermostat from scarcity settings to settings of limitless prosperity, acknowledging that the universe is inherently abundant and you are simply aligning yourself with this fundamental truth, allowing the natural flow of all good to express itself fully through your experience. Now manifests, destroys the deadly belief in delay that keeps countless people indefinitely postponed from their good. This phrase activates the creative power of the spoken word by charging your declaration with immediate, present tense energy. The universe operates exclusively in the eternal now, recognizing neither past limitation nor future postponement. When you declare that your abundance now manifests, you are collapsing the time barrier between desire and fulfillment, between asking and receiving, between need and supply. Your subconscious mind, which controls the vast majority of your automatic behaviors and attracts your experiences, begins operating from the premise that your abundance is manifesting now rather than from patterns of postponement that may have governed your financial life for years. The word now cultivates an expectant attitude, training your mind to look for and receive your good in the present rather than perpetually deferring it to a future that never quite arrives. Under grace ensures that your abundance unfolds through divine order rather than through struggle, manipulation, competition, or harm to others. Grace represents love in action, the gentle yet irresistible force that arranges circumstances for your highest good while blessing everyone involved in your supply. This phrase directly addresses faith over fear in financial matters by eliminating the need for fear-based strategies, aggressive competition, or desperate measures to secure your supply. When your prosperity manifests under grace, it comes with peace rather than stress, with joy rather than guilt, with blessing rather than burden. You never need to wonder whether you deserve your good or whether it comes at someone else's expense, because grace ensures that your abundance blesses all it touches. This dissolves any guilt or unworthiness you might subconsciously associate with receiving great wealth, assuring you that this prosperity is a divine gift, freely given and effortlessly received. In perfect ways, acknowledges that infinite intelligence knows exactly how to deliver your supply through the ideal channels, at the perfect timing, in precisely the right amount. This phrase relieves you of the impossible burden of trying to figure out how your good will come or orchestrating the details of your manifestation. It connects directly to right word plus right action, because while you speak the word with faith, you must remain alert to the guidance, opportunities, and inspirations that follow. Your role is to declare the what and the when lavish abundance now, while trusting divine intelligence to orchestrate the how through perfect ways that may be broader than your present knowledge. These perfect ways may come through promotion or pivot, through client or contract, through creative spark or unexpected windfall, through simple hunches followed promptly, or through letters discovered at precisely the right moment. This Master Declaration works by completely reprogramming your financial consciousness at the deepest levels through several simultaneous mechanisms. First, it reprograms your subconscious mind, which then operates continuously to bring your outer circumstances into perfect alignment with your inner declarations. Second, it alters your vibrational frequency, transforming you into a powerful magnet that naturally draws financial good. Third, it activates the law of attraction with laser-like precision, drawing to you the specific people, opportunities, and circumstances necessary for your prosperity to manifest in physical form. Consider the businessman who discovered this principle when his company faced seemingly insurmountable financial difficulties. Instead of focusing on problems or trying to manipulate solutions through human effort alone, he disciplined himself to declare this truth 7 times each morning and evening with complete conviction. He ceased announcing drought and began announcing supply, stopped counting late payments, and started counting evidence of movement, however small. Within days, he began receiving ideas for new revenue streams, former clients reached out with unexpected opportunities, and a payment delayed for months suddenly materialized. He followed a nudge to revise an old proposal and send it without delay, resisted the impulse to chase or plead, and instead kept his word steady. The declaration had activated the law of supply, and his willingness to follow inspired guidance allowed that supply to manifest in his physical experience. Each repetition of this declaration builds upon the previous one, creating new neural pathways that support abundance while dissolving old patterns that perpetuated lack. Like water consistently applied to stone, your persistent declarations eventually dissolve even the most stubborn beliefs about financial limitation that may have seemed permanent and unchangeable. The declaration must be spoken with feeling and absolute conviction to achieve maximum effectiveness. Words spoken mechanically carry minimal creative force, but when spoken with complete faith, deep feeling, and unwavering conviction, they become irresistible commands that penetrate every level of consciousness. Form the habit of speaking this declaration at specific times throughout your day, allowing it to become as natural and automatic as breathing. Upon awakening, speak it 7 times to establish your financial consciousness for the day ahead. When money goes out, speak it to maintain consciousness of continuous supply rather than depletion. When money comes in, speak it to seal the increase with gratitude and establish the tone for more. Before important financial meetings or decisions, speak it silently to align your mind with abundance rather than anxiety. As you consistently work with this master declaration, you will notice remarkable changes in both your inner consciousness and outer circumstances. Your physician, dealings brighten, words of increase replace words of complaint, and you become punctual, precise, and cheerful in your obligations because you no longer treat money as a tyrant, but as an obedient servant. You begin to bless other people's prosperity because increase anywhere confirms the law everywhere. Under this new atmosphere, seeming coincidences multiply. But these are not accidents. They are spiritual law, finding its own perfect expression through your transformed consciousness. The Master Declaration serves as a bell that summons inspired action. As the truth takes root in your consciousness, expect hunches, guidance, and orderly impulses. Call the person, send the letter, clean the desk, refine the offer, learn the skill that keeps presenting itself. None of this contradicts your rest in source. It expresses it. You act from sufficiency, not to earn sufficiency. You are not scrambling for crumbs. You are arranging the banquet that divine intelligence has already prepared for your enjoyment. There exists a distinction so profound and transformative that once grasped, it forever liberates you from financial anxiety and establishes your consciousness in unshakable prosperity. This distinction represents the difference between living at the mercy of circumstances and dwelling in the authority of divine law. The distinction is this: your supply flows from one inexhaustible source, but through countless ever-changing channels. The source is infinite, eternal, and unfailing. Channels are finite, temporary, and subject to fluctuation. The tragedy of most financial struggle stems from confusing these two, placing faith in the channel rather than the source, worshiping the faucet while forgetting the eternal spring from which all water flows. Consider the mighty river that flows from mountain springs to nourish vast valleys below. The river itself represents the source constant, powerful, life-giving. The various tributaries, irrigation ditches, and waterways that carry this water to different fields represent the channels. If one ditch becomes blocked or diverted, the river does not cease to exist. The river continues its eternal flow, and new channels can always be created, cleared, or discovered. To mistake the ditch for the river is to limit your access to water to the capacity of that single channel and to panic when it appears to fail. To know the river is to know that water is always available, and when one channel proves inadequate, another will surely emerge, often larger and more suitable than the first. Your job is not your source. It is merely one channel through which divine supply flows to you. Your clients, investments, spouse, inheritance, or business are not your source. They are temporary vessels through which the infinite intelligence expresses your abundance. Even your skills, talents, and abilities are not your source. They are channels through which divine wisdom manifests as your perfect provision. The source itself is God, the universal mind, the omnipresent intelligence that knows no lack, recognizes no limitation, and experiences no failure. This source is eternally abundant, eternally willing, and eternally capable of providing for every need while lavishing upon you surplus beyond your present capacity to imagine. When you declare the Master Declaration, God is my unfailing supply, and lavish abundance now manifests under grace and in perfect ways, you are establishing your consciousness in source rather than channels. Notice how this declaration never mentions your employer, your industry, economic conditions, or any specific avenue through which your good might come. This omission is revolutionary. It grants infinite intelligence complete freedom to select the finest channels for your prosperity while establishing your faith in the inexhaustible fountain rather than any particular pipe through which it flows. This understanding directly activates the creative power of the ECM, spoken word, because when you speak from source consciousness, your words carry divine authority. You are not hoping that a particular channel might provide for you. You are commanding abundance to manifest through whatever channels serve your highest good. Your declaration becomes an organizing intelligence that directs the flow of supply from the infinite reservoir through the most appropriate and perfect avenues, many of which may be beyond your present knowledge or imagination. The liberation this understanding brings cannot be overstated. When you truly grasp that your supply originates from the infinite source rather than from finite channels, financial worry becomes impossible. If you lose your job, the source has not failed. It has simply redirected its flow through a more suitable channel. When a client departs, your abundance has not diminished, it has found a better avenue for expression. When an investment disappoints, your prosperity has not been threatened, it has moved to more profitable ground. This knowledge transforms every apparent loss into an opportunity for greater gain, every closed door into the opening of a better entrance. Consider the woman whose husband lost his position after 15 years with the same company. Instead of falling into despair about their financial future, she immediately began declaring, "The divine source never loses employment, never faces downsizing, never experiences lack." This change opens the door for greater good to manifest in our lives under grace and in perfect ways. She refused to speak limitation or entertain conversations about economic hardship. Within days, her husband received an offer from a former colleague for a position with superior compensation and working conditions. The source had simply upgraded the channel through which their abundance flowed. Or consider the contractor whose largest client delayed payment for months, creating apparent cash flow problems. Instead of panicking or resorting to desperate measures, he declared daily, "God is my unfailing supply. Clients are channels, not sources. Money flows to me now from expected and unexpected directions under grace and in perfect ways." He reviewed his proposals, refined his services, and followed an inner prompting to contact 3 previous clients with a new offering. Within a week, 2 substantial contracts were signed that exceeded the delayed payment, and the original invoice was also honored. The source had used apparent difficulty as an opportunity to multiply his channels of supply. This principle directly connects to faith over fear in financial matters, because your faith rests upon the absolute reliability of the source rather than the fluctuating dependability of any channel. Channels may be temporary, but the source is eternal. Channels may be limited, but the source is infinite. Channels may fail, but the source cannot fail because it is the very principle of life itself, and life always finds perfect expression through whatever avenues are most suitable for your growth and good. Understanding source versus channels transforms your relationship with money from desperate grasping to grateful receiving. Instead of hoarding money out of fear that more might not come, you allow it to circulate freely, knowing that the source is inexhaustible and your supply is guaranteed. This creates a flow that actually multiplies your abundance, because money that moves freely through generous and wise circulation increases itself, while money clutched in fear tends to diminish through unexpected expenses or poor decisions made from anxiety. The practical application of this principle requires daily vigilance in your thoughts and words. When money comes to you through any channel, immediately acknowledge the source. Thank you, divine intelligence, for this perfect provision through this blessed channel. When you spend money for any purpose, bless both the expenditure and the channel while affirming continuous replenishment. This money serves its perfect purpose and returns to me multiplied through divine channels under grace and in perfect ways. Train yourself to bless every channel of your current supply without making idols of them. Bless your work, your clients, your income sources, and every person who serves as a conduit for your good, but do so with gratitude rather than dependence, appreciation rather than attachment. When you bless a channel, you are acknowledging its service while maintaining your freedom from it. When you worship a channel, you become enslaved to its limitations and subject to its fluctuations. This understanding naturally leads to right word plus right action, because when you know your supply comes from the infinite source, you become alert to the guidance, opportunities, and inspired ideas through which that source directs you toward appropriate action. You may feel led to acquire new skills, explore different opportunities, make strategic connections, or reorganize your current activities to become a clearer channel for divine abundance to express itself through your life. The source operates through your consciousness, making it essential to keep your mind clear, positive, and receptive for maintaining free flow of supply. Fear, worry, resentment, and anxiety create blockages that impede abundance, while faith, gratitude, love, and joy create wide channels through which prosperity pours freely. This is why maintaining your spiritual consciousness is not separate from your financial success. It is the very foundation upon which lasting prosperity is built. Form the habit of declaring before every financial activity, "My source is infinite and unfailing. This channel is blessed, but my good is not confined to it." New and delightful avenues open continually under grace and in perfect ways. Then move through your day with the composure of one who knows they are already provided for, already backed by infinite resources, already guided by perfect intelligence. This confidence is not pretense. It is power that calms negotiations, steadies decisions, and attracts right opportunities, because others can sense the difference between someone scrambling for provision and someone who knows their supply is guaranteed. When channels appear to close or change, resist the temptation to panic or force outcomes through human effort alone. Instead, bless the closing. This channel has served its perfect purpose and now makes way for something greater. I release it with gratitude and welcome the superior good that infinite intelligence has prepared for me. Then prepare for the new by clearing space physically, mentally, and emotionally. Clean your office, update your skills, organize your files, and follow any inspired impulses that come. Space is a silent magnet, and where there is room, provision rushes in to fill it. Remember that you yourself serve as a channel of supply for others. As you maintain faith in the source, you become a dependable conduit through which ideas, opportunities, encouragement, and resources flow to bless those connected to your prosperity. This makes you a magnet for larger streams of abundance because spiritual law enlarges vessels that pour generously. The universe entrusts greater supply to those who prove they can circulate it wisely, transforming you from a dependent receiver into a confident distributor of good. The ultimate freedom comes when you realize that no person, policy, or circumstance can cut off your supply because your supply does not originate from the realm of effects, but from the realm of cause. You walk through life like a well-watered garden in changing seasons, green and fruitful regardless of external weather, because your roots reach down to the river that never runs dry. You know the truth behind every appearance. You are sustained by the infinite, never at the mercy of any finite condition, always connected to the source that makes all channels possible and directs them according to perfect wisdom for your highest good and the blessing of all concerned. Fear stands as the great robber of mankind's treasures, the insidious thief that steals abundance before it can manifest, the destructive force that transforms potential prosperity into actual poverty through the sheer power of misguided creative energy. Yet fear possesses no original power of its own. It is simply faith inverted, creative energy flowing in the wrong direction, divine force turned against itself. Within the realm of financial experience, two mighty forces wage constant battle for dominion over your consciousness, and the victor determines whether you live in abundance or lack, peace or anxiety, prosperity or struggle. These forces are fear and faith, and they represent opposite polarities of mental energy that cannot coexist in the same consciousness simultaneously. What you fear, you magnetize with mathematical precision. What you have faith in, you realize with absolute certainty. In financial affairs, this law operates with unwavering accuracy, creating your experience according to your dominant emotional vibration. The moment you replace fear with faith, you reverse the flow of creative energy, pulling down the scaffolding of lack and raising in its place the the structure of provision that already exists for you in the invisible realm of infinite possibility. Fear operates as a destructive magnet, attracting the very experiences it seeks desperately to avoid. When you approach financial matters from fear, you unconsciously program your subconscious mind to notice and attract evidence of limitation, scarcity, and financial insecurity. This constant state of apprehension about money, the worry over bills, the anxiety about future security, the doubt concerning your capacity to provide is far more than mere emotional discomfort. It is a powerful creative force operating in reverse, actively dismantling your financial well-being through the creative power of the spoken word turned against your own prosperity. Consider the energetic resonance of fear versus faith. Fear vibrates at a low, dense frequency, creating a magnetic field that draws similar low-frequency experiences, financial setbacks, unexpected expenses, missed opportunities, delayed payments. Fear-based thinking creates a vibrational frequency that resonates with lack, broadcasting signals of distress that the universe interprets as orders for more experiences worthy of worry. The worried mind becomes a powerful transmission station, sending out declarations of insufficiency that must manifest as insufficient supply because spiritual law responds with perfect impartiality to the intensity of your conviction. Fear also creates what appears to be protective behaviors that actually sabotage your prosperity with devastating effectiveness. Fear hoards money instead of allowing it to circulate, creating stagnation that blocks new superiority to supply from entering your experience. Fear makes decisions based on worst-case scenarios rather than best possibilities, leading to choices that limit rather than expand your good. Fear negotiates from weakness rather than strength, accepting less than you deserve because anxiety convinces you that something inadequate is better than nothing at all. Fear procrastinates on important financial actions because it magnifies risks while minimizing opportunities, keeping you trapped in cycles of postponement and regret. Faith operates as the exact opposite force, serving as a powerful magnet for abundance, prosperity, and financial peace that surpasses understanding. Faith recognizes that you are connected to an inexhaustible source versus channels that never fails, never diminishes, and never withholds good from those who trust in its perfect provision with unwavering conviction. When you approach financial matters from faith, you program your subconscious mind to notice and attract evidence of supply, abundance, and divine provision flowing through both expected and unexpected avenues. Faith vibrates at a high, expansive frequency, attracting conditions of ease, opportunity, and overflowing provision that bless everyone involved in your prosperity. Faith is not mere intellectual assent or wishful thinking, it is an inner knowing, a deep conviction that regardless of outward appearances, the divine source is always present, always active, and always providing through perfect channels at perfect timing. This unwavering trust acts like a powerful magnet, drawing to you the very experiences of abundance that confirm your faithful expectations, while opening new pathways for even greater good to manifest. The Master Declaration, God is my unfailing supply, and lavish abundance now manifests under grace and in perfect ways, serves as the ultimate expression of faith over fear in financial matters, representing a potent antidote to every form of financial anxiety. Each component of this powerful statement directly dismantles a specific facet of fear while building an unshakable foundation of trust in divine provision. When you declare God is my unfailing supply, you are consciously shifting your dependence from finite, potentially unreliable human channels to the infinite, eternally reliable divine source that cannot fail under any circumstances. Financial fear often arises when we place our trust in a particular channel, a job, a client, an investment, and that channel appears to falter or close. But when your faith is rooted in the unfailing source, the apparent failure of any single channel simply becomes an opportunity for the source to manifest through new, often superior, avenues that serve your highest good. The source cannot fail. Therefore, your supply cannot ultimately fail, regardless of how circumstances may appear to human observation. The phrase, lavish abundance, directly challenges the fear of not enough that keeps millions trapped in financial mediocrity. Financial anxiety often stems from a deep-seated belief in scarcity, the fear that there isn't enough to go around, or not enough specifically for you. By declaring lavish abundance, you are affirming your divine right to overflow, to more than enough, to prosperity that allows for generosity and joy without reservation or hesitation. This expands your consciousness beyond mere survival, dissolving the fear that you must constantly fight, claw, and struggle for every morsel of provision. Now manifests, directly combats the fear of delay and postponement that keeps countless people indefinitely separated from their good. Financial worry often projects into the future, imagining worst-case scenarios or dreading impending obligations. By affirming that your abundance now manifests, you are anchoring your consciousness in the present moment, where all creative power resides and where divine intelligence operates with perfect precision. You are telling the universe that your good is not coming someday, but is available and unfolding right now, thereby dissolving the anxiety of waiting and the fear of an uncertain future. Under grace eliminates the fear of struggle, manipulation, or having to compromise your integrity to achieve financial success. Many harbor a subconscious fear that wealth must come through cutthroat competition or at the expense of others, creating guilt that blocks the very abundance they desire. Grace assures you that your abundance flows through divine order in ways that bless all concerned, bringing peace rather than stress, while removing any guilt associated with receiving great prosperity. This dissolves the fear that financial success requires sacrificing your values or your peace of mind. In perfect ways, directly addresses the fear of the unknown and the anxiety of needing to control every detail of your financial manifestation. When you trust that your good will come, in perfect ways, you release the impossible burden of figuring out exactly how it will happen. You surrender to the infinite intelligence of the universe, knowing that it will orchestrate the ideal circumstances, opportunities, and connections for your supply to appear through channels you may never have imagined possible. Consider the woman who faced a frightening stack of bills with a dwindling bank balance, each envelope feeling like a verdict of financial failure. Instead of surrendering to panic, she decided to practice faith scientifically. She placed the bills on a clean table and laid her hand on them one by one, declaring with conviction, "You are paid in full under grace and in perfect ways." Divine substance now takes form as the money to meet you perfectly. When fear argued, "But where will it come from?" she refused to answer fear's question and instead answered to truth, from the unfailing source, through perfect channels that are opening now. She then engaged in right word plus right action by following the inner nudges that came. An inspiration sent her to refresh an old portfolio, write 2 emails she had delayed, and tidy a neglected drawer where she discovered a gift card sufficient for groceries. Within days, a former client resurfaced with a generous order, a small refund appeared from an insurance adjustment, and an unexpected bonus from her employer arrived precisely when needed. Fear had predicted collapse. Faith produced a sequence of orderly solutions that exceeded her original need while opening permanent channels for increased supply. The cultivation of financial faith requires daily discipline and conscious choice because fear represents an old habit that may have governed your financial thinking for years with intorque, creating well-worn neural pathways that automatically activate under pressure. Faith represents a new way of thinking that must be consciously chosen and consistently practiced until it becomes your natural response to financial challenges. This transformation does not happen overnight, but every moment you choose faith over fear, you strengthen the new pattern while weakening the old, building tremendous momentum in the direction of lasting prosperity. Practical faith in financial matters means taking inspired action despite appearances to the contrary. When your bank account shows a low balance, faith leads you to bless what is there and declare increase rather than panic about what appears to be missing. When unexpected expenses arise, faith sees them as opportunities for divine intelligence to demonstrate its perfect provision through unexpected channels that may surprise and delight you. When income seems delayed, faith maintains that perfect timing governs all supply and uses the waiting period for preparation rather than worry, knowing that delays often prevent problems and prepare you for greater good. Consider the entrepreneur who faced her largest financial challenge when 3 major clients unexpectedly terminated their contracts within the same week, creating what appeared to be a devastating blow to her business. Instead of surrendering to fear and desperation, she immediately began declaring with unwavering conviction, "This apparent setback is actually a divine setup for something far greater than I can currently imagine. My source never fails, and new channels of abundant supply open now, under grace and in perfect ways." She refused to entertain conversations about business failure or economic hardship, instead, using the sudden freedom to reorganize her services, develop new offerings that better served her ideal clients, and contact potential customers she had been too busy to pursue properly. She forgave a competitor she had resented, blessed her former clients in their new arrangements, and followed every inspired impulse that came to her awareness. Within 30 days, she had secured contracts that exceeded her previous income while working with clients who appreciated her services more fully and paid more promptly. Fear would have created panic and poor decisions. Faith created opportunity and expansion that transformed her entire business model. Faith requires you to act as if your prosperity is already guaranteed, because from the spiritual perspective, it absolutely is guaranteed by divine law. This means paying bills with gratitude rather than resentment, making purchases with confidence rather than guilt, and planning for expansion rather than contraction. When you act from faith, you send clear signals to your subconscious mind and to the universe that you expect abundance, and these expectations become self-fulfilling prophecies that manifest as increased supply through both logical and seemingly miraculous means. To cultivate unshakable faith, you must also starve fear's diet of constant worry and catastrophic thinking. Fear feeds on continuous checking of accounts, catastrophic headlines, and conversations of complaint that rehearse limitation. If you must read financial news, read it as an observer rather than a devotee, blessing the economy and declaring divine order in all commercial affairs. Refuse to be a repeating station for scarcity talk. When others declare drought, speak rain. When they insist on contraction, you declare expansion under grace. Your words are not for argument. They are for atmosphere, setting a climate of confidence in which money flowers naturally. Generosity serves as a powerful antidote to fear, because fear clutches while faith circulates freely. When you give under divine guidance, you prove to yourself that you are a channel of abundance rather than a cistern of limitation. Money is like blood. It must circulate to maintain vitality and health. A guided gift, a tip given with joy, a debt paid promptly, a bill paid with blessing, these actions become body language for faith, training your subconscious to expect return rather than depletion. As money goes out, declare with feeling, "This returns to me multiplied, through perfect channels, in perfect ways." Another vital operation of faith is complete forgiveness of all financial resentments. Fear often hides behind resentment toward those who owe you or have wronged you financially. Resentment stores up old accounts and jams the ledger of your prosperity, creating blockages that prevent new supply from flowing freely. Forgiveness wipes the slate clean and restores flow by declaring, "I fully and freely forgive everyone and everything, and I am forgiven. I loose and let go of all financial resentments. I now move into my larger good with a clear heart and open hands." Faith governs perfect timing in all financial matters. Fear is either too early or too late, rushing when it should prepare and hesitating when it should step forward boldly. Faith moves in rhythm with divine order, waiting without worry and acting without haste. It knows that now manifests means now in truth, and that perfect form appears at perfect time, according to divine intelligence that sees the larger picture. Like a wise farmer who does not dig up seeds every hour to check progress, faith waters your financial declarations with praise and watches for evidence with joyful expectancy. When collective fear rises through market swings, layoffs, or gloomy economic forecasts, do not lend your voice to the choir of alarm. Instead, become a tuning fork for truth by declaring aloud, "I stand in the midst of divine substance. I cannot be depleted. My work is needed. My value is recognized. My compensation is just and increasing. Divine order is now established in all commercial affairs. Bless those who fear and quietly include them in your declarations of prosperity." Many have discovered that their calm presence in a fearful company or industry preserved their position, invited promotion, or opened superior opportunities that fear-based colleagues missed entirely. The ultimate freedom comes when you realize that no person, policy, or circumstance can cut off your supply, because your supply originates not from the realm of effects, but from the realm of cause. You walk through changing economic seasons like a well-watered garden, green and fruitful regardless of external weather, because your roots reach down to the river of divine substance that never runs dry. You know the truth behind every appearance. You are sustained by the infinite, never at the mercy of any finite condition, always connected to the source that makes all channels possible and directs them according to perfect wisdom for your highest good and the blessing of all concerned. This knowledge transforms every financial challenge into an opportunity for faith to demonstrate its power, every apparent setback into a setup for greater advancement, and every moment of choice between fear and faith into a chance to align more completely with the abundance that is your spiritual birthright. Within the sacred architecture of manifestation lies a divine partnership so fundamental that without it, even the most powerful declarations remain incomplete, and even the most diligent efforts produce meager results. This partnership represents the marriage between heaven and earth, between the invisible realm of infinite possibility and the visible world of tangible experience. The creative power of the spoken word serves as the creative catalyst that sets universal law into motion, while inspired action serves as the bridge that carries your declared good from the realm of pure potential into your physical experience. Neither element alone can produce complete manifestation. The word without action remains wishful thinking floating in the ethereal realm, while action without the word lacks the spiritual authority necessary to command lasting abundance. This principle transforms your relationship with prosperity from passive hoping into active co-creation with divine intelligence. When you understand that your role is not to struggle and strain through human effort alone, but to speak the word with authority and then move in harmony with the guidance that follows, you discover the secret of effortless achievement that has eluded those who try to force results through willpower or manipulation. The universe operates as a perfect servant, taking your faith-filled declarations as orders and then providing precise instructions for their fulfillment through inspired impulses, intuitive nudges, and what others might call coincidental opportunities. The sacred sequence of manifestation, the divine order governing all successful manifestation, follows an immutable sequence that must be honored for optimal results. First comes the word spoken with conviction and feeling, establishing your claim in consciousness and activating the law of attraction with laser-like precision. The master declaration, "God is my unfailing supply, and lavish abundance now manifests under grace and in perfect ways," serves as your spiritual command center, the organizing intelligence around which all subsequent action revolves. This declaration creates what might be understood as a spiritual vacuum that draws substance from the invisible realm toward visible form, while simultaneously programming your subconscious mind to recognize and attract the opportunities necessary for manifestation. Following your declaration comes the listening phase, a period of receptive stillness during which divine intelligence communicates the specific steps required for your good to manifest in physical form. This guidance rarely arrives as thunderous pronouncements or dramatic revelations. Instead, it whispers through simple impulses. Call this person, send that message, clean your workspace, update your resume, attend that meeting, learn this skill, or simply wait with patient expectancy. These promptings may seem mundane or unrelated to your financial goals, but they represent the precise choreography through which infinite intelligence orchestrates your supply through channels you may never have imagined possible. The third phase involves prompt, cheerful obedience to the guidance received, moving with the confidence of one who knows their steps are ordered by divine wisdom. This is not frantic activity born of desperation, but purposeful action flowing from inner certainty. Each step taken in faith becomes a magnet for the next step, creating momentum that carries you swiftly toward your declared good, while opening channels through which even greater abundance can flow. Distinguishing inspired action from fear-based motion. The quality of your action determines the quality of your results, making it essential to distinguish between inspired action and the frantic motion that fear generates when it masquerades as productivity. Fear-based action feels heavy, urgent, and desperate, arising from the consciousness of lack and the belief that you must force circumstances to bend to your will. It operates through manipulation, competition, and the exhausting effort to control outcomes through human intellect alone. This type of action actually repels abundance because it broadcasts vibrations of insufficiency that attract more experiences worthy of worry. Inspired action, by contrast, feels light, natural, and perfectly timed, flowing from the consciousness of abundance established through faithful declaration. It carries a sense of rightness and divine order that brings peace rather than stress, even when it requires stepping outside your comfort zone or taking risks that challenge conventional thinking. Inspired action often involves serving others or contributing to something larger than immediate personal gain, reflecting the fundamental truth that abundance flows most freely through consciousness, focused on giving rather than getting. Consider the woman who faced overwhelming financial pressure, despite maintaining her daily declarations faithfully, in quiet listening after speaking her word. She consistently felt prompted to organize her neglected office space, a task that seemed irrelevant to her immediate money needs. However, her commitment to faith over fear in financial matters led her to trust this guidance despite appearances. As she cleaned and organized, she discovered a forgotten contract worth thousands of dollars, uncovered business cards from valuable contacts she had lost track of, and created the orderly environment that attracted 3 new clients within days of completion. The inspired action of organizing had cleared both physical and energetic channels through which her declared abundance could flow with remarkable speed. Integration with the complete system of abundance, right word plus right action, operates most powerfully when integrated with the complete understanding of all 5 keynotes working in harmonious unity. Your recognition of source versus channels frees you from attachment to specific outcomes or particular avenues through which your good must come, allowing you to follow guidance with complete trust, even when suggested actions seem to lead in unexpected directions. Divine intelligence sees the larger pattern and often orchestrates circumstances through seemingly indirect routes to create results that exceed your original expectations while blessing all concerned. A contractor discovered this principle when his business slowed during economic uncertainty. Rather than panicking or resorting to desperate marketing tactics, he maintained steady declarations of divine supply while remaining alert to inner guidance. He felt prompted to volunteer his skills for a community project, attend a networking event he had previously avoided, and develop a service offering he had been considering. Each action, taken without attachment to immediate financial return, created connections that eventually generated referrals, partnerships, and contracts that not only restored his income, but expanded his business beyond its previous level. The volunteer work connected him with influential community members, who became clients and advocates. The networking event led to strategic partnerships, and the new service offering positioned him uniquely when market demand shifted in that direction. The preparation principle. One of the most powerful forms of right action involves preparation, creating space, order, and readiness for the good you have declared to manifest in your experience. This preparation serves multiple purposes. It demonstrates faith in the coming manifestation, creates physical and energetic channels through which abundance can flow, and programs your subconscious mind to expect increase rather than limitation. Space is indeed a silent magnet, and where there is room prepared with expectant faith, provision rushes in to fill it with remarkable consistency. Preparation takes many forms, each serving to align your outer world with your inner declarations. Clean and organize your workspace, creating an environment worthy of the increased business you are claiming. Update your professional materials, ensuring they reflect the level of success you are declaring. Acquire new skills or knowledge that position you for greater opportunities. Pay current obligations promptly and cheerfully, demonstrating your confidence in continuous supply. Declutter your living space, removing the stagnant energy of accumulated possessions that no longer serve your expanding good. A business consultant experienced dramatic results when she applied this principle systematically. After declaring increased income through her master declaration, she felt guided to completely reorganize her office, update her marketing materials, and research advanced training in her field. These actions required time and some financial investment, but she approached them as acts of faith rather than desperate attempts to create business. Within 30 days of completing these preparations, she received inquiries from 3 ideal clients, was invited to speak at a prestigious conference, and was offered a partnership opportunity that doubled her income potential. The preparation had created channels through which her declared good could manifest while positioning her to receive opportunities that required the very readiness she had developed. The circulation of abundance. Understanding money as energy that must circulate to maintain vitality transforms your relationship with both receiving and giving, making every financial transaction an opportunity to demonstrate faith and attract increase. When money comes to you through any channel, immediately acknowledge the true source versus channels with gratitude. Thank you, divine intelligence, for this perfect provision through this blessed channel. This recognition maintains your consciousness in abundance while blessing the channel through which your good has flowed. When money flows out for any purpose, bless both the expenditure and its purpose while declaring continuous replenishment. This money serves its perfect purpose and returns to me multiplied through perfect channels under grace and in perfect ways. This practice maintains the consciousness of circulation rather than depletion, keeping channels open for continuous flow rather than creating the stagnation that comes from fear-based hoarding. Guided generosity serves as particularly powerful right action because it demonstrates your faith in inexhaustible supply while creating channels through which greater abundance can return to you. This is not about giving from obligation or to manipulate outcomes, but about following inner guidance to contribute where your giving serves the highest good. Many discover that their greatest financial breakthroughs occur following acts of selfless generosity, demonstrating that the universe enlarges vessels that pour forth blessing to others. A woman learned this principle when facing her most challenging financial period. Despite appearances suggesting she should conserve every penny, she felt strongly guided to contribute to a cause she believed in deeply. Trusting her daily declarations more than her bank balance, she made the contribution with joy and complete faith in divine replenishment. Within days, she received an unexpected tax refund, a bonus from her employer, and a referral that led to her most lucrative contract to date. The generous action had demonstrated such faith in her source that the universe responded with multiple channels of supply that far exceeded her original gift. Perfect timing and divine action. Divine intelligence operates according to perfect timing that considers factors beyond human perception, making patience and trust essential elements of right action. Sometimes the guidance is to move immediately and decisively, seizing opportunities while they are fresh and available. Other times, the guidance is to wait, prepare, or allow circumstances to develop further before taking action. Both responses require faith, faith to move when movement is indicated, and faith to remain still when stillness serves the larger pattern. A real estate investor discovered the power of divine timing when he felt drawn to a particular property despite market conditions suggesting caution. His logical mind argued for delay, but his daily practice of declaration and listening had developed such sensitivity to inner guidance that he recognized the unmistakable peace that accompanies inspired action. He proceeded with the purchase, and within months, development in the area increased property values significantly beyond his projections. The timing that seemed premature to human calculation proved perfect from the perspective of divine intelligence that saw the larger pattern of development. Conversely, another investor felt equally strong guidance to wait despite what appeared to be an excellent opportunity that others were pursuing aggressively. Trusting this inner restraint, he watched as complications arose that would have created significant losses for those who moved hastily. 6 months later, a superior opportunity appeared that provided greater returns with less risk, perfectly timed for his prepared resources and expanded knowledge. Daily practice for integrated manifestation. To make this principle a living reality in your financial experience, establish daily practices that integrate declaration with receptive listening and prompt action. Begin each morning with your master declaration, speaking it 7 times with feeling and complete conviction. Then sit quietly for several minutes, asking specifically, Divine Intelligence, what actions will best serve my highest good today? I am open, willing, and ready to follow your perfect guidance. Listen for impressions, ideas, or impulses that feel aligned with the consciousness of abundance you have established. These may come immediately or throughout the day as circumstances unfold. The guidance may be as simple as organizing your workspace, making a phone call, sending an email, or researching a subject that interests you. The key is recognizing the quality of inspired action. It feels natural rather than forced, carries peace rather than anxiety, and often involves serving others or improving your capacity to serve. Throughout your day, maintain awareness of the continuous partnership between word and action. Before important meetings, silently declare divine favor and perfect outcomes. When handling money for any purpose, bless it and declare its multiplication. When opportunities arise, pause briefly to sense whether action is guided or merely impulsive. This constant alignment between consciousness and behavior creates a powerful magnetic field that attracts abundance through both expected and unexpected channels. Common pitfalls and their corrections. Many people sabotage their manifestation by contaminating their actions with words of doubt or fear, speaking limitation while attempting to demonstrate abundance. Guard your speech during action, blessing your efforts rather than complaining about challenges. If you cannot bless the task at hand, return to your declaration until you can approach it from abundance consciousness rather than lack consciousness. Another common error involves taking frantic action without first establishing the proper consciousness through declaration, then wondering why results are disappointing despite tremendous effort. Remember the sacred sequence. Establish the consciousness through the word, receive guidance through listening, then move in harmony with that guidance. Action without the proper consciousness often creates more problems than it solves. Some fall into the opposite trap of making declarations without following through on inspired guidance, expecting manifestation without providing channels through which it can occur. The universe requires your cooperation in the form of appropriate action to complete the manifestation process. When guidance comes, act upon it promptly and cheerfully, trusting that divine intelligence is coordinating circumstances beyond your present understanding. The ultimate integration. As this principle becomes established in your consciousness, you discover that right word and right action merge into a seamless flow of divine expression. Your declarations naturally inspire appropriate action, while your actions naturally reinforce and expand your declarations. You move through life with the confidence of one who knows they are guided, provided for, and supported by infinite intelligence, taking each step with faith while remaining alert to the guidance that ensures each step leads toward greater good. This integration transforms every aspect of your financial life into a sacred practice. Every expenditure becomes an act of faith. Every receipt of money becomes an opportunity for gratitude. Every business decision becomes a chance to demonstrate trust in divine guidance. You discover that the so-called miracles of supply are often the natural outcomes of a life lived in conscious partnership with infinite intelligence, where the word creates the possibility and inspired action actualizes it in your physical experience. The ultimate freedom comes when you realize that this principle makes you independent of economic conditions, market fluctuations, or any external circumstances that others consider determining factors in financial success. You carry within your consciousness the complete system for creating abundance, the word that commands, the faith that sustains, and the willingness to act that provides channels through which infinite supply can flow into your experience in ways that exceed your present capacity to imagine, while blessing all whose lives your prosperity touches within the sacred architecture of financial prosperity lies a principle so fundamental that it governs every transaction, every exchange, and every movement of divine substance through your experience. This is the law of circulation and abundant flow, the divine rhythm that transforms money from a static commodity to be hoarded into a vibrant current of energy that multiplies through movement and blessing. Like the life-giving blood that nourishes every cell of your body through constant circulation, money must flow freely to maintain its vitality and creative power. To attempt to dam this natural flow through fear-based hoarding or resentful spending is to invite stagnation, while to consciously direct its movement through blessing and wisdom is to activate the multiplication principle that ensures continuous, ever-increasing supply. This law reveals the profound truth that your financial well-being depends not merely upon how much money comes to you, but upon how consciously and gracefully you allow it to circulate through your experience. Every dollar that flows through your hands carries within it the potential for multiplication. But this potential can only be activated through the proper consciousness of blessing, gratitude, and purposeful release. When you understand money as divine substance temporarily taking form to serve specific purposes, you transform every financial transaction into a sacred opportunity to demonstrate your faith in the inexhaustible source versus channels, while creating clear pathways for even greater abundance to manifest in your experience. The creative power of the spoken word becomes your primary instrument for directing this circulation with divine authority. As money flows out for any purpose, whether paying bills, making purchases, or giving generously, you speak the blessing that keeps the stream vibrant and ensures its multiplied return. This money goes forth to serve its perfect purpose and returns to me multiplied under grace and in perfect ways. These words are not mere hopeful thinking, but actual commands that imprint the law of increase upon every walk, transaction, programming both your subconscious mind and the universal intelligence to orchestrate circumstances that fulfill your decree with mathematical precision. Similarly, when money flows to you through any channel, you seal the increase with grateful acknowledgement. I rejoice in this divine provision and welcome its continued multiplication through perfect channels. This practice maintains your consciousness in the flow of abundance rather than the fear of depletion, ensuring that receiving becomes as natural and effortless as breathing, while opening your awareness to recognize and attract even greater streams of supply. The relationship between circulation and faith over fear in financial matters cannot be overstated, for fear represents the great enemy of financial flow. Fear clutches, hoards, and resents every outgoing dollar as a permanent loss, creating energetic blockages that constrict the very channels through which abundance seeks to express itself. Fear pays bills, grudgingly, gives reluctantly, and receives with guilt, thereby contaminating the flow with negative emotion that actually repels future supply. Faith, by contrast, releases money with confidence, knowing that every conscious expenditure creates space for greater good to enter your experience while demonstrating your unshakable trust in continuous provision. When you pay bills from a consciousness of faith, you are not losing money, you are investing in the maintenance and improvement of your life while proving your confidence in the unfailing source that makes all payments possible. When you make purchases with blessing rather than anxiety, you are not depleting your resources, you are participating in the grand circulation of divine substance while affirming your right to enjoy the good things of life without guilt or reservation. When you give generously, under spiritual guidance, you are not sacrificing your security. You are planting seeds in the fertile soil of universal law that must inevitably yield harvests far exceeding your original investment. This understanding directly connects to the Master Declaration, because circulation serves as the practical demonstration of your faith in unfailing supply and lavish abundance. When you declare that God is your unfailing supply, you are establishing your consciousness in the infinite source rather than in any finite amount currently visible in your bank account. This recognition frees you to circulate money with confidence, knowing that the source cannot be diminished by any amount you release, and that new channels of supply are constantly opening to replace and exceed whatever flows out through conscious blessing and wise stewardship. The phrase lavish abundance takes on new meaning when understood through the lens of circulation. Lavish abundance is not money sitting stagnant in accounts, but money flowing freely through your life to bless every legitimate need and desire while creating surplus for generous sharing and wise investment in future expansion. The circulation of lavish abundance means having such confidence in continuous supply that you never hesitate to pay promptly, give joyfully, or invest wisely in opportunities that serve your highest good and the blessing of others. Right word plus right action finds perfect expression in the practice of guided circulation, where your spoken declarations create the proper consciousness, while inspired action directs the flow through channels that multiply rather than merely maintain your good. This may involve following inner guidance to pay certain bills ahead of schedule, to give to specific causes or individuals, to invest in particular opportunities, or to reorganize your financial systems for greater efficiency and clarity. Each action taken in harmony with your declarations becomes a magnet for increased supply while demonstrating your active partnership with divine intelligence in managing your prosperity. Consider the your declaration, woman who discovered this principle when facing what appeared to be insurmountable financial pressure. Instead of panicking or hoarding her remaining resources, she began blessing every outgoing dollar while declaring continuous replenishment. She paid her bills with gratitude for the services received, blessed her grocery purchases as investments in her health and energy, and followed an inner prompting to give a small but meaningful gift to a friend's worthy cause. Within days, she received an unexpected tax refund, a bonus from her employer, and a referral that led to her most profitable contract to date. The circulation had created a magnetic field that drew supply from multiple directions, while proving that generosity attracts abundance rather than depleting it. The sacred practice of grateful circulation. Gratitude serves as the golden oil that lubricates every aspect of financial circulation, transforming routine transactions into powerful affirmations of abundance while creating the emotional atmosphere in which money multiplies most readily. When you approach every financial exchange with genuine gratitude, thanking bills for evidence of services enjoyed, blessing vendors for their contributions to your well-being, appreciating your income sources for recognizing your value, you create a vibrational frequency that naturally attracts more reasons for financial gratitude. This practice extends beyond mere politeness to become a sophisticated method of programming your subconscious mind for continuous increase. Each expression of financial gratitude reinforces the pattern of abundance in your consciousness while dissolving any residual beliefs in scarcity or limitation that may have unconsciously governed your money experiences. The grateful heart becomes a powerful magnet for supply because gratitude acknowledges good already received while creating space and expectancy for even greater good to manifest. Form the habit of blessing your money before it circulates in any direction. Hold your cash with appreciation, thanking it for its service and declaring its multiplication. Bless your checks as you write them, your electronic transfers as you authorize them, and your credit cards as you use them, always with the consciousness that you are directing divine substance to fulfill its highest purpose while ensuring its abundant return through perfect channels. Forgiveness as financial liberation. One of the most powerful yet overlooked aspects of circulation involves the forgiveness of all financial resentments, grievances, and perceived wrongs. Unforgiven financial wounds create energetic blockages that obstruct the flow of new supply, just as surely as physical debris blocks a river. Every person you resent for financial reasons, whether employers who underpaid you, clients who paid late, partners who disappointed you financially, or even yourself, for past financial mistakes occupies space in your consciousness that should be reserved for incoming good. The practice of financial forgiveness involves consciously releasing all claims against others while blessing them in their financial affairs. Declare with feeling, I fully and freely forgive everyone and everything connected to my financial experience. I release all resentments, grievances, and demands. I bless all my financial relationships and welcome perfect harmony and abundant supply for all concerned. This clearing creates immediate space for new and better financial relationships while freeing tremendous energy that can remain altogether for. Be redirected toward attracting and creating prosperity. Orderly circulation and sacred stewardship. Divine abundance expresses itself through order, clarity, and conscious stewardship, making the organization of your financial affairs an essential element of circulation. Cluttered accounts, disorganized records, and neglected financial responsibilities create energetic confusion that impedes the smooth flow of supply while sending mixed signals about your readiness to receive and manage greater abundance. Dedicate time regularly to bringing perfect order to every aspect of your financial life. Reconcile accounts promptly and cheerfully, file important documents in accessible systems, pay bills on or before their due dates, and maintain clear records of both income and expenses. This orderly approach demonstrates respect for money while creating the clarity that allows you to recognize opportunities and make wise decisions that multiply your good. Create sacred space for your financial activities by designating specific areas for money management, keeping these spaces clean and organized, and approaching financial tasks with the same reverence you would bring to any spiritual practice. When your outer financial world reflects order and care, your inner consciousness naturally aligns with the orderly principles that govern divine supply, creating harmony between your spiritual declarations and your practical stewardship. The magnetism of guided generosity. Generosity represents circulation in its most powerful form, demonstrating such complete faith in inexhaustible supply that you can release resources without fear while trusting divine intelligence to orchestrate their multiplication and return. However, Effective generosity must be guided rather than compulsive, flowing from inner direction rather than external pressure or guilt-based obligation. Cultivate sensitivity to the inner promptings that indicate when, where, and how much to give. This guidance may come as a sudden inspiration to contribute to a particular cause, an impulse to tip generously for excellent service, a nudge to pay someone's bill anonymously, or simply the recognition that a friend or family member needs assistance. The key is giving with joy and complete confidence in return, rather than giving from duty or to manipulate outcomes. Each act of guided generosity becomes a powerful declaration that you live from abundance rather than lack, programming your subconscious mind to expect and attract experiences that confirm this abundant identity. The universe responds to generosity by enlarging your capacity to receive, often opening channels of supply that far exceed the value of your original gift while blessing everyone involved in the circulation. Circulation through all seasons of supply. Understanding circulation requires recognizing that financial flow naturally moves in seasons, with periods of high outflow alternating, with periods of abundant inflow, according to divine timing and your expanding capacity to receive and steward greater good. During seasons of high expenditure, whether for investments, training, debt clearing, or major purchases, maintain the consciousness of circulation rather than depletion by blessing each release and affirming its multiplication. During seasons of abundant inflow, receive without guilt, while maintaining the flow through wise allocation, generous, sharing, and strategic investments in your continued expansion. Both seasons are sacred aspects of the circulation principle, and your peace must not depend upon which season you are currently experiencing, but upon your unwavering faith in the source that orchestrates all seasons for your ultimate good. Living the circulation. Consciousness. As this principle becomes integrated into your daily experience, you discover that money ceases to feel like a tyrant to appease or a prize to chase and reveals itself as divine substance in joyful motion, eager to serve worthy purposes while multiplying in hands that bless and release with wisdom. Your entire relationship with money transforms from anxiety-producing struggle to peaceful stewardship, from fearful hoarding to confident circulation, from resentful obligation to grateful opportunity. You begin to see every financial transaction as a sacred exchange that blesses all participants while creating channels for even greater good to flow. You pay bills with the knowledge that you are supporting worthy enterprises while demonstrating your confidence in continuous supply. You receive money with gratitude for the recognition of your value while maintaining openness for even greater recognition. You give generously, knowing that generosity creates the magnetic field that attracts abundance while proving your faith in the inexhaustible source that makes all giving possible. In this consciousness, apparent financial challenges transform into opportunities for circulation to demonstrate its power. Every closed channel becomes the opening for a better avenue, and every act of conscious financial stewardship becomes a prayer in action that draws down from the invisible realm the substance necessary to meet every need while creating surplus for joy, generosity, and the expansion of your capacity to serve the highest good of all concerned.